Hello, people of the world. This is day 6. Today we are welcoming you from Southern California, specifically in Thousand Oaks. Today the topic's gonna be about refrigerators. So refrigerator is a good subject because I love refrigeration. I grew up being involved in service and refrigeration systems, and I always said, maybe I can become one of them. But I was thinking more like becoming an electrical engineer, but things didn't happen. So now I'm doing what I'm doing now. So anyway, so refrigeration is good. You know why? Because this magic box can hold my ice cream, can hold my popsicles, and can keep my food from spoiling for a long time. So this is a magic box to me, okay? Technology wise, it's a very simple design applied to be serviceable for human usage, and I believe that they hit it big with that one. Okay, so refrigeration is here to stay. We're gonna have everything to stay longer, even medicines stay longer with refrigeration. Genetically, the DNA. For the ladies, the eggs, whatever it is they call it, reproductive system, anyway, so refrigeration is very important, so that's why I love it. Okay, so what we're talking about today is residential refrigeration is the luxury type, is the Barbie of technology within the house. It has to look good. It has to work perfectly, and everybody wants to touch it. Everyone wants to look at it. Everyone wants to see what's in there. So refrigeration is involving a unit that compresses refrigerant. There's a coil, two coils. This one coil that, after being compressed, the refrigerant needs to be cooled down. That's called the condenser. And then it flows into the evaporator, where it turns into gas, evaporates, which, as the word says, and it gives out cold as it evaporates. It turns into gas. So anyway, so first of all, you gotta look up. After is the compressor. Compressor is in the back of the unit, and sometimes on the top of the unit, or in the front or the bottom. It all depends on the design that you have of the refrigeration system or the refrigeration unit in the house. And there's about 3 types. Okay, one is side by side, one is bottom freezer, that with this French style doors, 2 doors above the freezer, the drawer. And the third one is the top freezer, which is like old school refrigerators, simple but reliable. They don't have a lot of gadgets to deal with, so they seem to last a lot longer, less stuff to go back. So those are the 3 types. Now, when it comes to what you want in there to be collected or preserved, it's all a whole different animal, because we like all the gadgets, we like all the good stuff. Okay, we want to keep our hams, our little deli, they call it, on a different temperature. Then we want our sodas to be, or our beers to be really cold, just above freezing. The other thing is the freezer part. You want to keep your meats, you want to keep your ice creams, your perishables, stuff that won't last very long. So that's the freezer. And then there's individual drawers to hold your vegetables, because there's moisture control in that ones. Okay, so you want a less or more moisture depending on what you have in there. I seem to go around. It seems that that's the only way I can concentrate about what I'm doing. So I hope you don't mind that. Just the other segment I did before, I was going around, and I believe some people say that I was getting them dizzy, so sorry about that. So anyway, take a look. I was going to say about the backgrounds. See the background where I'm at today? There it goes. Nice field. Beautiful. It's a lonely place. This is where I take a break and let my brain go away. Think about stuff. The end of the day. So anyway, so we're going back to refrigeration. So the issue comes when you buy one that has all the gadgets, right? One that has a specific temperature for the drawers, which is good. You want an ice maker, but you want to think about ice making. Try to get one that is not taking space from other things that should be doing that space. You should be using that space for something else. I've seen the new designs that they cram them in so tight spaces that it actually robs you from other space where it used to be before in the freezer all the time. It was good enough. The problem with that is not accessible. People don't like to lean down forward to get, because I never liked the drawer style, the one with the drawer at the bottom, because you just cram all the food in there. You don't know what you got. I like the side by side. That's my own opinions, right? Okay, so I like the side by sides because when you open, you see everything that you have. It's all stacked from vertically, and you can see what you got pretty much. All right, so it's all a matter of choices. So what I'm saying is, you try to avoid sacrificing space for a feature that you may really don't need to have accessible that much, to be exposed to a view. It's just robbing you of other stuff to use it for. So anyway, so that's that. That's making. Then the other thing is, I've seen one that has a screen on the front of the door. Look out for those. I mean, you can buy whatever you want technology-wise, but just make sure you buy insurance. You buy extended warranty, because this is gonna happen. It will break eventually. Okay, nothing lasts forever. So specifically the electronic stuff. So it will break, and then when you find out that those screens, the monitors, they cost about $900, and then the installation is another $300, so $200 right there. Okay, so you don't want to get involved in having to deal with stuff that it doesn't have to do with cooling, keeping your food, you know what I mean, from spoiling. Try to get the basic ones. I love the stainless steel ones because, it just looks so beautiful, okay? So, space-wise, like the Sub-Zeros, okay? What do you see in the Sub-Zeros? You don't see all this stuff like the Samsungs and LGs have. So anyway, so you don't want, it's good to have all these little zones, they call it, different zones. Sub-Zeros, they have 2 zones. The only thing is that with the 2 zones that they have a compressor, individual compressor for each zone. That's pretty smart. So some other more popular brands like Samsung and LG said they cram all this stuff, and it just looks very very crowded in there. So too much stuff going on. So anyway, so refrigeration. Okay, now going back. Okay, that's as far as what you're gonna buy. Okay, if you have to buy, but let's talk about what you have. What you got is something that may be better than what you have that you want to buy right now, as far as technology, as far as reliability. It may not look as good because it just goes with the times, right? You may want one now, but just think about stuff like that. Do I really need to buy one now, or do I need to change my kitchen? Because that's what's going to happen. You're going to renovate the kitchen at the end of the project. So you want to do these things first, okay? You want to do preventative maintenance, which involves cleaning the coil that I explained to you, where the compressor cools down the temperature, lowers the temperature of the refrigerant, which is called the condenser. Usually in the back or at the bottom, there's a grill. There's a plastic cover that allows access to that condenser sometimes, and that picks up dust. But specifically if you have pets, okay, you have to keep an eye on pets walking in the kitchen, because this fan that cools the condenser, it has a cycle of pulling on one side air and throwing it at the other side. So that's that pulling of the air in allows stuff that walks by it in the front of the refrigerator on one side, it will pull whatever it's in front of it. So it'll end up in the condenser. And then what happens? The condenser is no longer cooling the refrigerant down. So the compressor starts running hot. And by not cooling the refrigerant, the refrigerant doesn't do its change from a liquid to a gas when it gets to the evaporator. So there's not going to be any cooling. So all that's relatable to the fact that you haven't cleaned the condenser, okay? So you do the condenser cleaning. First of all, have somebody come and look at it, do it the one time. The way we do it is we use pressurized air or CO2, and then just blow the condenser and then we pick it up with a vacuum afterwards, okay? So that's the first thing we do. And then the other thing that you need to do is make sure that you do not lower the temperature too much, okay? You do not want the refrigerator running at maximum, okay? When I say at maximum, I mean at the lowest temperature you can get it at. Some people have said, hey, my refrigerator can do -7. I want it doing -7. And my response to that is, sure, it'll do that, but you cannot do it all 24/7. You'll do it as long as you want it, but as long as you turn it back to the normal temperature that's recommended by the factory, which is usually at 50%. If it's from 1 to 10, between 4 and 5 is about what's recommended, okay? But if you're gonna have a party and people are gonna be opening and closing the door repeatedly, you're gonna turn the temperature to a lower temperature, okay? And then while you're having the party, and then overnight, the next morning, you bring it back to the temperature that's normal. Otherwise, the thing is going to be running all the time, and you think it's going to be okay for maybe a week or two, and then after that, it's just going to start acting up like you don't know what's going to happen, because it's just not going to be cooling going on. The thing is overheating because it's running. You have it going 100 miles an hour all day long, so it's overheating. It cuts off. And what happens, it overheats, it damages the relay because it's all plastic and stuff like that. So it's all, there's like a domino effect that you're going to create when you have that thing going on full blast. So please, keep it at 50% of what the maximum is, okay? So that's very critical. We said preventative maintenance. Now we said about do not put a full blast all day, all night, every day, 365. Funny story, I work for a home warranty insurance, and this customer in Westlake Village, a Viking refrigerator, okay? She said she's had the refrigerator 12 years, and from the beginning they had issues that there was water dripping on the floor all the time. The drain pan was overflowing, and even the panel in front of it, that's metal, rusted away after years and years. The insurance didn't do anything about it because they didn't think it was anything to do with the mechanicals of the refrigerator. Okay, so after rusted up panels, and she just said, enough, I want you to do something about it. And they sent me out. Lucky me, I had to take all this, the heat from whatever the other guy said. I had to try to solve and make sense of what I was gonna say and why she was having the issues. And guess what the problem? The whole 12 years that she had the fridge, she had a full blast. The service techs that showed up every time, they didn't have they didn't take the time to look at the settings and see where she had it set at. But because she was always complaining about something, she would always set a full blast, right? So what happens with that? The system is running on all the time. The evaporator, which is the unit that cools the air inside the freezer and the fresh food section, is creating a lot of moisture, because when you put food in it, that moisture gets sucked to the evaporator surface, and it turns into a frost. This frost, every 10 hours for 30 minutes, there is a heater that turns on and it melts that frost buildup, okay? That frost buildup turns into water, and it drips down into a drain. This drain allows the water to go down to that pan that the customer is complaining about as always overflowing. So the reason why it was overflowing, she had it going full blast. Obviously that thing was creating water. It was creating water all the time, and that made it overflow. So after years and years, this thing rusted whatever. Even the floor was getting damaged, okay? So What was my answer? Just bring it down to 5. And I went back 2 days later, and the temperature was perfect the way I wanted it. 38 degrees inside the fresh food section, and 0 -1 actually in the freezer. Okay, so just the fact that he had not taken it back to the recommended setting is what created the whole thing, and nobody even noticed that. So you know, I take a little, you know, what do you call it? So what can I say? You know what I mean? Sometimes you catch little details like that that could be causing very major issues. So the main thing is, do not set it a higher setting. People say, hey, but if it's not cooling, I need to set it higher. Yeah, I understand that, but until the technician comes out, you don't want it all the time like that. So anyway, so what else we're talking about? There's individual compressors. Most of them have 1 compressor. Some of them have 2 compressors. All this complexity creates issues. Okay, so it's up to the customer. All I'm saying is, you buy something like that, get insurance. Okay, so I guess that's all I got. You know, 15 minutes, 16 minutes right now I just hit. So my monologues are getting longer, which is not good, because as I process it and I what do you call it? I start changing and doing stuff. The machine takes forever to do this, so I'm not at the level yet to do this stuff fast. So anyway, so I hope this helped. I'm gonna put it on YouTube right now. This is where my channel is at, Day to Day 6. Okay, we want to be as helpful as possible in issues that are day to day, sometimes challenges to people. And you see YouTube, you know, start questioning stuff, and then it's right there. Somebody went through it, or somebody can talk about it, and there's the solution. All right, so I love technology about that. Before, you had to go ask people and then try to find what it was. I'm from old school, the 80s, so I learned the hard way. Okay, so anyway, Day to Day 6. We'll keep on moving. All right, so hopefully getting better. And a mis amigos, saludos en español, okay? De día a día, ¿ah? Todo lo que sucede de día a día. Vamos cambiando, okay? So here we are, guys. Another day. We move on, okay? So until the next one. The next segment, we still don't know about what we're going to talk about the next segment. We try to make it fun, okay? We're going to make something fun. We're not going to talk about stuff like that I usually do. We're going to talk about other stuff, but I'm going to become creative with this, okay? You guys have a great day, and be good, all right, guys? I think that's a good one. Be good, all right, guys? Take care. Bye.